If you don't watch the full video, then please tell me what the reason was so that I can improve. Otherwise, I'm welcome. I'm trying to learn Dinosaurology, today the Plateosaurus, and after we've done it, we're going to do stretching. And if you participate in the stretching, then it's better to ask. The Plateosaurus, so first the dimensions, we have 7 meters long. 7 meters, so that's 1 meter and that's 7 times, so it's quite big. The Plateosaurus, 7 meters long. Early dinosaurs, such as Plateosaurus, were the first tall plant eaters. Okay, there were dinosaurs and there were plant-eating dinosaurs. So there were some dinosaurs who were eating ferns or something like that, plants. And there are tall ones of them. And that one with 7 meters is a tall one. So the Plateosaurus was one of the first tall, big, plant-eating dinosaurs. This long-necked creature could rear up on its back legs and reach high into trees such as cycads and conifers to tear off leaves with its sharp teeth. Okay, it had a long neck, so the leg had grown long, it had a very long neck, and furthermore, it could stand just on its back legs so that it could reach even higher. And then it could reach up to trees like the cycads or the conifers and pluck them the leaves and eat them. This probably had a serious effect on trees of this time, which had never before been fed on by such giants. Okay, they're saying that now there was a dinosaur more or less suddenly existing, which had a long neck to reach higher with a head and could also stand on the back legs to come higher, and was also not like a dog a meter high, but 7 meters high, meant that the trees suddenly were eaten. Normally just grass is eaten or smaller bushes, and suddenly a 7 meter high tree is being eaten. So it might have had an effect on the vegetation that suddenly there was an animal able to eat large trees. When not feeding, the bulky-bodied Plateosaurus probably moved around on all fours. Okay, just like a dog. If there was something to reach up to leaves on a tree, then it was standing on the back legs. Otherwise, it was going on all 4 legs. It lived in herds which traveled through the desert landscape of Europe, searching for new feeding grounds. Okay, it seems that this dinosaur, 7 meters long and bulky, and when always moving in groups, were now at a place and they were eating there all day long, and then they had eaten all the leaves of the trees and traveled to the next place. And now it makes also sense that they said that that had maybe a big effect on the vegetation. So it's not one dinosaur eating a little bit and eating a little bit, it's a complete herd eating all the trees bare and moving it on to the next place. And that could have actually an effect if all the trees are eaten bare, all the cycads and ferns that we mentioned, conifers, cycads and conifers. Okay, it is of a group of a prosauropod. Plateosaurus from the group Plateosaurus. Now that was the first part. We read all this and understood it. Now we're trying to remember these things. It's a bit much this time with this dinosaur, but let's try it. The Plateosaurus was a prosauropod. A prosauropod. Plateosaurus prosauropod. Okay. It was eating conifers and ferns. First the dimensions. It was 7 meters long. It was bulky, had a long tail and a long neck. It was eating leaves, and if it was taking the leaves, it was standing just on its back legs. If it was traveling, then it was on all 4 legs traveling. It moved in herds and always from one place to another. And that there was suddenly a dinosaur able to eat such high up leaves and traveling in groups and all day when eating so much and then moving to the next place had maybe a big effect on the vegetation. Did we forget something? It had also sharp teeth to tear off the leaves. Maybe we're going to mention it. Okay, I think that is all. So the 2 difficult names are Plateosaurus and then Prosauropod. Okay, I have a second camera which I'm going to start now, then I try to save it all from memory. the Plateosaurus. It was a big and bulky dinosaur, and it had a long neck and a long tail. And when it was eating, it could stand just on its back leg and could then reach high up. It was 7 meters high. And if it was traveling, then it was doing that probably on all 4 legs. And when they were traveling, they were doing that in groups, a bunch of these Plateosauruses, and they were eating and then moving on after they've eaten it all. And that had probably an unusual effect on the vegetation, that there was suddenly an animal able to eat high up leaves, 7 meters high, the dinosaur, that had maybe an effect on the vegetation. And that is according to the Golan's Dinosaur Encyclopedia for Children on page 26. Did I forgot something? Cicadas and conifers. I'm going to take it as I have it. We're going to remember cicadas and conifers were the plants. I'm going to stop the second camera. And that was the dinosaurology part. If you were here for dinosaurology, you can go directly to the next part of dinosaurology, where you will do the next dinosaur. If you stay here and participate in the stretching, then it's better at your own risk. We're having the feet standing together. Yes, we're having them standing together. And now we're opening with the toes to one side and with the other toes. Now with the heels and with the heels. The toes and the toes. The heels and the heels, and so on, as far as you can go. And now all the same in again. But now stay with the head down. So go a bit into the knees. The toes and the toes, the heels and the heels. And up. Now, a similar exercise. Legs hip width apart, a bit down into the knees. And now flex the leg muscles. Press with the legs together. And now straighten one leg. Keep pressing together and flex. And bend the leg again, press together the legs. Other leg. Straighten the leg, press together the legs. And bend it again. Now a bit wider apart. Bit down again. Flex the muscles, press the legs together. Now again, straighten one leg. And bend it again. Press together the legs. Other leg, press together the legs. Bend again. A bit closer together, and now press to the outside. Okay, now with the legs standing shoulder width wide apart, and breathe in and lift the arms up. Breathe out, go out to one side. Again, in into the middle, and breathe out and go over to the other side. Again, in, and the arms down. Breathe again in. And out in one hand slides down the leg, and the other shoulder stays down. Breathe again in. And out and take one arm over. Breathe in and out the rib cage. And breathe again out. Breathe again in. And out, and the other hand slides down the leg, and the shoulder stays down. Breathe again in. And out and take one arm over. Breathe in and out the rib cage. And breathe out quick. Now have the feet standing together, and breathe in and lift the arms. Breathe out one arm down, and breathe in and reach. And again out. Breathe in and reach high. And breathe out the other hand down. Breathe in and reach. And out, hand up, and both down. Again with the legs shoulder wide apart. And now go back with the shoulders up and front and down. One more time, back, up, front and down. Now in front, up, back and down. One more time, in front, up, back and down. Now breathe in and lift the shoulders up. Then breathe out and let them fall down. Again, in and up. Out and down. Now breathe in and lift the arms up. And reach all this with one hand high up. And pretend to take an apple hanging high on an apple branch. Rib it down. And the next exercise, legs wide apart. Arms up to a T. Breathe again in. And breathe out and shift just with the upper part of the body And breathe out and shift over to one side. Again in. And out into leaning onto the knees. Breathe again in. And out one shot in front. In back. And out the other one in front. In and back. And out and hanging down. Breathe again in. And out go over to the leg. Breathe again in. And out go over to the other leg. Breathe again in. And out back into the middle. And close down the feet, but keep on hanging down. Breathe again in. And out. Breathe again in. And out, come slowly with a round back up. And make it to the backwards, shoulder roll. The toes are pointing to the outside. Have inner limb space between the heels. Breathe in and lift the arms up. And breathe out and sink down. Place your elbows against the insides of the knees and breathe in. And now breathe out and come with the back up. Breathe again in. Out and down. Breathe in and straighten up. And breathe out and come slowly in one straight line up. Have a good standing leg. Place the heel of the mobile leg on top of the knee of a standing leg. Breathe again in. And if you can do it without injuring yourself, sink down. And up again. Upper leg. Heel on top of the knee. Breathe again in. And out and down. And up. The legs wide apart and with breathing in and going down. And breathe again out. In and up. Out and down. One more round. Breathe in and down. And again out. Again in. And out. Breathe in and close the legs. And breathe again out. Wait for the stretching. I thank you very much and until next time.